absolutely wild. Eh? Wild Boar Fell. Christ. Right.
Wow.
Well, what do you think of that then?
Oh, there's a wee bit of a kick to it.
It's got a bit of spice in it.
Yeah, yeah, it's excellent. Really good.
Hi, welcome back to the channel. So it's Sunday the 11th of February and it's, what time is it, Ciaran?
I don't know.
It's about, let's have a look, it's about 2 o'clock and we're in the Yorkshire Dales, and as I've just led away, I'm out with Ciaran, my mate. So we've just parked the car on the B6259 just south of Aysgill Farm, and we're heading up to Wild Boar Fell for a wild camp and a bit of cooking. And so far the weather's been kind. Got a nice bright day, but as you can see, a seriously moody sky over there. I think the weather, it's meant to get a bit breezy through the night, so like 20-mile-an-hour winds, perhaps gusting to 30. And depending which weather forecast you look at, it says it might snow as well, so that should be good. Anyway, we'll better press on because I think sunset's 5, so we've got plenty of time. It's not a very long walk. But yeah, so we'll see you at the top. Right, I think we've only been walking, what, half an hour?
Something like that.
But it's hard going, like it's up and down, and we're just trying to avoid the bog, and it is boggy, isn't it?
Deadly.
I always set myself the challenge of trying to get to camp with dry feet, but I've got a feeling I'm going to fail the mission this week. There's loads of snow still drifted against this wall, and I think it snowed on Thursday, so it must have been pretty high on Thursday and Friday. Right, anyway, we're heading up there, and along here you can see, well, you cannot see it very well, but up there, that's where Wild Boar Fell is, and there's some cairns along the top, which I'll show you more when we get up there. But yeah, the sky's black over here. I hope it keeps it to himself, because I don't fancy some of that dropping on us. The winds are westerly, so that should be pushing away from us really. Right, let's press on. Like I said, we've only done about a mile.
Thought it was a good idea to have a look at the sinkhole.
Never trust the snow. There's a mining sinkhole down here. Ciaran just goes ploughing for it, and he nearly came a cropper.
Get out of this. Oh, there's another one, I think.
Yeah. So that's the nab, which is on the edge of the Wild Boar Fell plateau. Some great views, but as you can see, the mist's just coming in. Tell you what, deceptively hard ascent that. I think we've only done about 3.5 miles, but yeah, pretty tough going. So anyway, we'll try and find a pitch at the top. We're hoping to use the shelter for maybe cooking, and we've got to get some water out of the tarn. Well, as you can see, we've just arrived at the shelter, and lucky enough it means it'll shelter us from the westerly wind that's blowing. Oh, I think this should be a perfect place to do some cooking tonight. Oh. Right, we're gonna put our bags down here, and then we'll have to go down to the sand tarn to get some water out the tarn, and then we'll come back and we'll pitch our tents, and we'll bring you back once we're all sorted. Right. Well, as you can see, we're pitched. It's probably, the wind's about what it was expected to be, about 20 mile an hour, 18 mile an hour, but it's a bit damper than I was expecting. I think it's like we're almost in a cloud. Anyway, the lights dropped. Sunset was at 5, it's gone 5. I'll show you Ciaran's tent. So he's in his Durston X-Mid, 1 person. Is set up there, Ciaran, alright? Champion. And I'm in my Trailstar. As you can see, it's nice and tight. I've pitched it pretty low to the ground because it's forecast potentially to snow in the night, combined with about 20 mile an hour winds. I don't want anything getting under. And I've got the inner set up for that reason, just in case there is a bit of spin drift flying around. So you can see you've got the inner there. I've put everything in actually a little bivvy bag, a Boar Gear bivvy bag, very lightweight one. It's not actually designed to be out in the elements, but it would be good to keep the condensation off me quilt. Anyway, I think we'll get the kettle on, get warmed up. Right, so we're in the shelter and we've got it set up for our kitchen. Ciaran's just boiling some water at the moment. He's making a coffee for us. I'm going to be doing me cooking down here. And it's perfect to, when I go down, there's no wind. When I come up, we've got the westerly wind. So anyway, we'll have a coffee, we'll get ourselves warmed up, and then I'll bring you back and explain what we're going to have for our dinner. Right, so we're all set up in the shelter. I've got my Trangia lit and some
olive oil in already, and we're going to have a curry night on Wild Boar Fell. So we're going to do chicken curry. So we're going to start off with some whole spices, which is mustard seeds, fennel seeds and some cumin seeds. Once those have started popping, then we'll put one big onion in, cook that out, then put some fresh chilli in, and then after that we'll put some ground spices in, which is just garam masala, cumin powder and coriander powder, and then cook them spices out, and then put in some chicken thigh fillets, so the chicken thighs with the skin off and the bone out, and I've marinated them for about 24 hours in full fat yogurt. Don't use low fat yogurt because it'll split. So just one small tub of full fat natural yogurt, and in there's also mixed in with some, like a teaspoon of Kashmiri chili powder and some turmeric and some garlic and ginger paste. Once that's sort of cooked out, then we'll put in half a tin of tomatoes and then some coconut cream, let it simmer, and then we'll finish it with a good squeeze of lime juice and some fresh coriander. Then we'll have that with basmati rice, and it'll be mwah, hopefully. So Ciaran, I don't think Ciaran's had a Trangia meal with me. He's watched us cook, but I don't think you've had a Trangia meal, have you, Ciaran?
No, I don't think so, no.
He's not on camera because he's actually playing the cameraman tonight instead of me dad. Anyway, once things are starting, I'll bring you back, okay? Right, so let's have a look at these onions. So they're nowhere near done. We like to cook the onions out for ages, especially with a curry. But what I'm going to do while they're cooking is I've chopped up two fairly big, they're not like mega spicy chilies, but they've got a lot of flavour, so I've chopped two chilies, included the seeds, and we'll pop them in as well. We don't want it to be too ferocious because obviously we don't have a toilet, we've just got a trowel. We don't want any accidents to it, Ciaran.
Definitely not.
So the next bit we'll be putting the ground spices in, but we'll do that in probably about 5 to 10 minutes because we want these onions to be really caramelised. Right, so those onions look good now. So what we'll do is we'll briefly fry out or cook out the ground spices. If I can lay my hands on them. So like I was saying, there's about 2 teaspoons of ground coriander, maybe a teaspoon of garam masala and a teaspoon of what was it? Cumin powder. You just need to cook them out a few minutes just to take the raw flavour away from the spices. And then what's going to go in a second is, like I said, the chicken thigh fillets with natural yogurt, turmeric, garlic and ginger paste and some Kashmiri chili powder, or any chili powder will do. Right, try not to get messy here. So take the lid off. Don't have to get all the yogurt in, but make sure we get all the chicken in. So we'll cook this chicken out, seal it, and then after that we'll put the tomatoes in. Right, so this chicken's well and truly sealed. So now we're going to put in the tomatoes. So it's just like a half tin of tin tomatoes. Just chopped tin, nothing fancy. Don't get the herbed ones or anything. Or certainly don't get what do you call it? Passata. Far too thick and rich. And then the next bit is the coconut cream. So I got one of these cartons of coconut cream. So it's just thicker than coconut milk, that's all. You can see it like comes out like paste really, but it soon melts. If it looks too thick, you can always add a little bit of water, but I'm sure this will loosen up nicely. Because it is so well sheltered, the stove's very, very hot. So obviously that makes a huge difference. If there's a wind hitting the stove, it cools it down massively. So sometimes you have to use your simmer ring a little bit. Oh, that looks great already. So now we just need to let this simmer for at least 20 minutes and we'll have a look at it then. Right, so this chicken's been simmering away now for at least 20 minutes or so. So we'll have a look at it. Nice, yeah, I mean there's more than enough for me and Ciaran here. I'm just trying not to spill it over, that's all, making a mess. But yeah, I think we're ready to do the rice now. So what I've got in there is just nothing fancy, just 1 cup of basmati rice, and we'll put 2 cups of water in and we'll let it boil for, so like 10, well, get it up to the boil and then let it simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes. I hate cooking rice. It's one of the hardest things to do, I think. Right, so once the rice is done and we're divvying it up, we'll bring you back for the taste test. Right, so if you've just seen, I've just put the coriander and the lime in, right, and that rice is done now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the rice off and we'll give this curry a blast, a final blast. So just for a moment, I'm just going to pop it over here and we'll take this off, we'll fluff that rice up, and then we'll put that lid on it, up there, and then we'll get this curry back on and we'll give it a blast. Right, so here we go. Ciaran, let's have a little look first of all at your plate. That looks marvellous, that
really does,
it?
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Well, what do you think of that then?
Oh, there's a wee bit of a kick to it.
It's got a bit of spice in it.
Yeah, it's excellent. Really good.
Hopefully it won't be through the eye of a needle later on this early in the hours of the morning, eh?
I certainly hope so.
Right, anyway, we're going to enjoy this and we'll bring you back later. Right, well, we've had our curry and we've warmed up a bit. It's quite spicy, but I think we're ready for bed now, so it's getting a bit nippy, isn't it?
A little bit chilly.
And it's it did say clear skies on the forecast, but you know what? The forecast absolutely useless, isn't it? The only thing they got right is the direction of the wind, but I'd say that's about it, isn't it?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Anyway, so I think we're going to get back in our own tents and warm up and listen to some podcasts. Vera's not on, like, that's finished. But I'll find something else to watch because the reception isn't too bad up here. Anyway, great night, and we'll see you back in the tents. Right, well, we're in the tents and just getting settled down. I mentioned earlier that I decided to put my kind of sleeping system in a really lightweight bivvy. So it's from Boar Gear in the US, and it's not designed to be out in direct weather. So it's not really waterproof, it's more water resistant. I can't remember what the material's called. Anyway, the reason I got it was just because sometimes when I'm in the Trailstar, even the Duomid, and especially if I haven't got an inner, sometimes my toe box might brush up against the side of the tent, and if there's condensation, it gets on the quilt. I must say though, it's never actually caused the quilt to be wet, just the surface of it. But anyway, I got it and it'll add a bit of warmth to the sleep system anyway. But the only thing I would say is I've realised now I'm in the tent and lying down, I must be on a very slight left to right, like, incline, and the material, it's dead slick, and I'm sliding about all over, so it's going to drive us crazy tonight, I think. Anyway, I'm nice and warm, so I'm going to just listen to some podcasts or try and watch something on the TV and settle down for the night, and then I'll see you in the morning for breakfast. So I'll wish you a good night. May God bless. Well, morning. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's like a slight pitter-patter of precipitation on the shelter. I'm not entirely sure what it is, if it's rain or if it's sleet or snow, because there's definitely a bit of a dusting of snow outside. A bit of a blowy night, but that was forecast. But to be honest, the Trailstar's a really quiet tent in the rain. Sorry, in the snow. I'll try again. It's a really quiet tent in the wind because there's not bits to rattle. You know, there's no like loose bits rattling around and zips rattling around. So actually I slept on and off all right. Yeah, not too bad. It was cold, like, and I wouldn't say I was warm. I wasn't cold, but I wasn't toasty warm. But anyway, I survived the night. So I've got my stove on. I'll boil some water, get a coffee made, and then we'll make some porridge, I think. Right, so as you can see, the kettle's boiled. So let's make some porridge. So there's 1 cup of porridge oats, and therefore we need 2 cups of water. And there's steamy, yeah? And there's some milk powder in, soft brown sugar, and some salt. Right, we'll just let that do its thing, and then we'll make the coffee. Right, so that porridge is done now, so I'm just going to take that off. I'll put the kettle back on so I can have another coffee.
you can see, we've had a bit of snow through the night, nothing dramatic. Wind's about 20 miles an hour or so, but there's little bits of ice in it, and it's pretty painful, spiteful. Anyway, I'm pretty much packed up inside my tent. Ciaran's just done packing up now, and then we'll drop them and I think we'll get off, but we're going to go back. We'll make it up into a loop, so I'll tell you a bit about that on the way. No trace. Right, it's blown out there like, so I've just ducked down here to say we've left no trace. So we're all packed up, just getting a little bit of shelter in the shelter, and now we're going to set off and we're going to go back to make it a loop. We're going to go via Swarth Fell, and hopefully we'll see those little set of cairns that look quite nice that I've seen on some photos of Wild Boar Fell. So yes, so I'll show you those before I sign off. It's absolutely wild, eh? Wild Boar Fell. Christ. The rain, this wind's got tiny bits of ice in it, and it's properly biting the face. So that's Swarth Fell summit, I think. So we've just, as you've just seen, we've just got to the top of Swarth Fell, and now we're descending back to get onto that road. I think it was called the B6259, where the car's parked. But I think it's a good place of any to sign off. You can see it's starting to snow. Don't know if you can see that. Anyway, that was a really nice adventure. Bit of weather, bit of a test. It was good. I enjoyed it. Did you, Ciaran? Good. Yeah. So if you've managed to get to this far in the video, well done. Thanks for watching. If you've got any comments or advice, please just leave them. I love answering them. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Cheers. Bye.